Hey, yo, I said, when knowledge hits the temple with born supreme intellect, you call a G-O-D dog, that means disrespect. I spits crazy off the top of the dome, them crackers like the eaves drop, hear the pop from the chrome, We made them savages walk across the burning sands. My peoples come from the east, so I'm a learning man. The MACD is the guide in this final hour. Elevate and pump your fist so you can fight the power. It's nighttime in the west until the sunrise. These 85ers keep believing in the dumb lies. I bet you soon they tell me that they seen a nun fly. I'm soaking up they fairy tales till the sponge dries. Jim Crow and apartheid is similar. It's time to chop these devil's heads with the scimitar. Let the dead go and bury their dead. I don't need the hateration like Mary J said. Illuminati got a black face. They frying niggas in the feds who got a crack case. Snitches running through the hood, it's a rat race. If you say you keeps it real, why you act fake? Yo, I'm about to hit you with the solar flare. The night scope will white a devil like a polar bear. Yeah, I murder savages that move like beasts. The sole controller of the universe is who I seek. You busy acting like that blue-eyed creep, that whole style's tired. I ain't trying to lose my sleep. I'm supposed to be scared, you the loud type. You screaming, homie, you just trying to get the crowd hype. My delivery swift, so stop and catch the flows. I was a youngin' in the kitchen trying to set the stove. Cause as a savage, all you know is dough and better hoes. I keep you drunk off truth, my bars never close. That shit is true, Aki. They got us trapped inside a matrix we do not see. I'm dropping high explosive bombs and it's for all of you. I give you light and understanding, I'm the oracle. The father took Muhammad's mosque to the streets to teach the young wild savages with hearts like a beast. I don't give a shit what you player haters purchase. I give y'all dudes that work like the day labor service. I only came for the lost sheep of Israel. I feed them baby food, that's why I keep a kid's meal.
You're not gonna get nothing like this anywhere in the world. Sinetta Studios, Sinetta TV, Black News 102 is the premier channel. If you want to get any information on what's going down in the black conscious community, there's nowhere else you can go, nothing else that you can get that'll be able to top this. We got powerful information, we got real scholars that's on a come-up, scholars that's been established, and we're upsetting the fabric of white supremacy in this society by bringing out this raw information that's going to change lives and be the catalyst for this new generation that's coming up.
Yo, listen, it's people in London, in South Africa who inbox me like, yo, when the next time you gonna be on Sinetta Studios? So all over the world, black people are now controlling information from right here in the United States of America.
So y'all continue to stay tuned to Sinetta TV and continue to tune in, and you'll see more of the likes of combatants like this getting in the ring, sitting down with civic builds, and actually doing something for the people for free, y'all. Peace.
We need to understand the impact that we're having, and if we understand the impact that we're having, we'll do our best to bring in the information like we go in today. This will be unique in the sense that the details of what we're going to bring is beautiful. So I think Sinetta, despite all of the homegrown and domestic hate you may have gotten, internationally people are all over the world thanking you for staying consistent and bringing information. And my prediction, as I said over and over again, is that Sinetta TV, Sinetta Studios is and will become the premier media outlet on the planet for black people. So just let the ball keep rolling. The guy gonna stay consistent, and we're gonna keep bringing this information. Love you. Peace.
Shout out to Sinetta Studio, right? Because you don't get stuff like this nowhere. This is changing. This is changing entertainment. It's changing education. This is epic. Y'all better receive Sinetta Studio.
When you ready for the latest breakdowns, latest news, latest presentations, there's only one place to go, and that is Sinetta Studios.
Black man, wake up. Black woman, wake up. Sonetta Studio, the greatest media on the planet. We right back at you. Thank you for having me. House of Consciousness, I love you. Peace.
Check out the channel, Sonetta Studios. The brother's going to be bringing a lot of lectures, Stu. You get your live lectures. You're going to get some on-point documentaries and things of that nature. So make sure that you subscribe, spread the word, let your peoples know Sonetta Studio is the new channel. All right, peace.
Tune in.
The black man, we're God by nature. We're Muslim by nature. But the difference is you grow into being a God. This is what we teach, and this is the reason why the lessons and the discipline that comes with it is so important. Father Allah, you know, he didn't really instill the you know, like in here I have the general orders. I have the aims of Islam. I have, you know, restrictive laws.
So he didn't put no emphasis.
He didn't put much emphasis on that.
What part did he put the most emphasis on?
He just basically put the most emphasis on the black man is God. You know what I'm saying? When I first got knowledge of self back in 1994,
finish that
right?
stuff, you know,
Just to kind of go back. When I first got knowledge of self back in 1994, 95, it's like I had to grow into certain things. You know, understanding. You know, I'm thankful for Allah for, you know, Brother Clarence 13X, you know, what we call a father. I'm thankful for him, but it's like when looking back now in retrospect, there's a few things that, you know, could have been implemented in his organization that would have given it a more longer, you know,
longevity.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With the youth. Because the thing is, if I'm coming in the mosque and I'm, you know, blowing trees, or if I'm coming into y'all cipher and I'm drunk, or I'm, you know, the father, a lot of times, you know, not just the father, but the other 5%ers didn't really get on the brother like how it was like, okay, cool, at least he's here. You know, I remember back in the days, I used to see guards coked up and they like, yo, so still I could quote, who's the 5%ers poor part of planet Earth, the poor righteous teachers who don't believe in the truth, you know, but he's coked up. You know what I'm saying? But because he can quote word for word without slipping, you know, I tell people in a minute, I'm not going to quote stuff word for word. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. In the Nation of Islam, we don't do that. When I joined the Nation of Islam, or when I came into the Nation of Islam, which was in 2000, 99, 2000.
So that was after you left the penitentiary.
Right,
Okay.
Right. When I was a part of the Nation of God. So I transitioned from the Nation of Gods and Earth, 5%ers, to the Nation of Islam. Gotcha. 5%ers. Because the brothers who I initially met wasn't brothers in suits and bow ties. It was brothers who was dressed just like me. You know what I'm saying? They might have had, you know, do-rag on, whatever, locks, beard, you know, because in the Nation of Islam, in the mosque, you know, FOI, we, you know, shave, you know, clean face, you know, clean cut look. You know, the messenger wanted his Muslims to look different, have a distinguished look from the rest of the Muslim world. But, you know, just coming into that fold and seeing those type of brothers, I'm like, wow, you know, y'all go to the mosque? And initially, I was taught when I was with the Nation of Gods and Earths that the brothers in the Nation of Islam are 10%ers.
So they're not part of the 5%.
The 10% is...
Okay. Who is the 10%? This is question number 15. Right. Answer is the rich, the slave makers of the poor who teach the poor lies. Wow. To believe that the Almighty True and Living God is a spook and cannot be seen by the physical eye, otherwise known as the bloodsucker of the poor. Oh, wow. So that means the Nation of Gods and Earth, or the 5%ers who stem from Clemens the 13th, they were being told that those who are in the Nation of Islam are considered 10%. Right. And they're the ones here, the rich, the slave makers of the poor, and that they didn't believe that the black man was God, but there was still an almighty essence of power that was ruling over man. Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. So, all right, so continue.
So, yeah, you know, and the thing is, they said, okay, Minister Farrakhan, he's a 10%er, you know, and I grew up believing that. You know, like when I first got knowledge of self, I went some years poisoned with that knowledge. You know, we like to call it, I remember the brothers in the mosque used to say he called it STD. You know, not a sexually transmitted disease, but a spiritually transmitted disease. Because for years, I would see brothers with final call papers. This is when I was in New York. driving, you know, downtown Brooklyn, you know, by Tillery, going over the Brooklyn Bridge, brothers down there giving out papers. I'm like, 10%, you know, and I'm, you know, but it took a while before I can like really, you know, and it was a brother who I met when I out here in Atlanta, and you know, just back and forth from here in Augusta. And the brother one day told me, he was like, you know, he asked me something, and it made me really sit down and think. He said, you know, a lot of people, the average person who says that Minister Farrakhan is this, that, and the third, and yeah, he's going off teaching something else, and he ain't following what Elijah say. I bet you they haven't even listened to 10 of the man's lectures. And it's like when he said that, I thought about what he said, and I was like, well, should we have?
He's like, I ain't listening to
I
that.
haven't even listened to none of his lectures because, you know, I'm thinking he at 10%. I ain't listening to, you know.
Exactly.
He's an idiot, you know, in my mind. The first tape that I listened to that Minister Farrakhan did, I believe it was Divine Destruction of America. He did it in 1986 at Mos Maryam in Chicago. The Divine Destruction of America, can she avert it? He built on, he did a lecture on that, and he built on the degrees, and he was like, you know, he did that. Then there was another one that he did dealing with Ibrahim or Abraham, you know, dealing with the religion, you know, and the debt that man owes to, you know, the Most High or whatever, you know. And it was just like certain tapes that he did, just study tapes that I would start looking at, where he was mostly going into the lessons, and then I got the study guides, which I wanted to bring. I think the only study guides that I have right here is 19, study guide 19.
We don't want to give you too much right now.
Right, yeah, study guide 19.
Part two, but
right.
yeah, go ahead.
The knowledge of God.
So, now let you finish, and I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, I was just going to be, study guide 19 and 20 was the only ones that I brought with me, but the study guides are very, very, it's like an extension of the lessons, basically.
So my question for you is, hearing your transition, from when you first got knowledge of self and then transition into looking into the Nation of Islam, I'm assuming it brought you to this material here,
right,
so you can get a better understanding of what your position.
Right.
My question is this: so today, where do you stand? Because I want to ask where do you stand,
right,
and then I want you to tell me what is the condition of the 5% nation today.
Right.
Because I know that, you know, they still have those ciphers here and there, but it didn't have the momentum that it once did.
Right.
So my question is, where do you stand today in regards to Nation of Islam, Fruit of Islam, 5%, and what's the current status of the 5% nation?
Right. Well, today, the current status is, you know, there's a lot of older, you know, initially in 1964 when Brother Clarence 13X, you know, started the 5% Nation of Islam, you know, it was teenagers. It was kids, babies, you know, 13, 14, 15. Fast forward today, you know, there's a lot of cats walking around, you know, 50, 60, 70. You know, I guess a lot of those brothers who were teenagers back then, it just goes to show and prove that they weren't on their job. Or I'm gonna just say we, you know, we, because I like to add myself in.
Yeah.
You know, the messenger always says when you point a finger, there's always 3 point right. So we weren't on our jobs the way we were supposed to be on our jobs. And, you know, of course, the lessons going in different ways. And, you know, God's is talking about, you know, they're the Most High Creator and they did all of this. And, you know, and it's like, you know, you can't really manifest any of that. You know what I'm saying? So, again, you know, the supreme being black man is God. I believe that Allah, God, you know, the Hebrew Israelite brothers, you know, you call them Yahweh.
Yeah, well, they call him Yah, you know,
Yeah.
I call him the supreme power,
The
most
supreme
high
power, right.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that that's a human being. It's a black man. But the thing is, I don't believe that, I'm not that black man. You know, you're not that black man. He's not that, not right now. Because we have to continue. Humanity is still evolving. It hasn't even been 100 years since Allah found us over here in the condition that we were in 1934. You know, in 1930, I'm sorry, when Master Fard Muhammad started the Nation of Islam, July 4th, 1930. I mean, it hasn't even been 100 years yet, so we're still in the growth process. So really, the condition today of the 5% Nation is just like every religion. You know, when the prophet or the messenger or the, you know, that patriarch leaves.
And anybody who's his contemporary, when
Right.
they start to wane away. And so
Right,
forth.
right. Now we see Satan, creep in. This is the way it is, with Christianity, with Islam, with Judaism, with all of the religions, we see this happening. There's a beginning group who are the original group, epic group, or the poster group, if you will. But then after that, generations after, you start seeing a decline, and now brothers is going. So back in 1964 and in 1974, whereas New York was full of 5%ers, little young 13, 14, and 15-year-olds running around talking about the black man is God, peace, queen. Now, today, 2015, they're Crips, they're Bloods, they're, different other factions and groups that, what's good, my nigga,
So with that being said, so now I need you to answer, what's your status currently? Are you a practicing Nation of Islam, Fruit of Islam, or do you consider yourself part of the Nation of God on Earth, or 5%? And then I'm going to ask you the question after that I think a lot of the viewers probably are concerned with. But what's your current status? Where do you see yourself fit in regards to that?
Well, I'm in the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm saying? I'm not registered in the Nation of Islam, but I'm Nation of Islam, 5% Nation of Islam, because, again, I fall under the teachings or the understanding that the Most High Elijah Muhammad gave to us in the lessons. So anyone who falls under that category, pretty much is, a Muslim or Muslim God, or 5% Nation of Islam, you know what I'm saying? The ones who say they don't subscribe to everything Elijah taught, and I guess they would fall under a different category. So that's my current, status where I'm at. I'm a Muslim, Muslim God, 5%.
5%. Okay, so you're a Nation of Islam, by principle, but by proxy because of the 5% of the supreme mathematics alphabet that you involve in. So you're kind of codified on both sides, pretty much. So my question is this: two questions. First question is, do you believe that, because again, like you were speaking initially, the 5% Nation have influenced the hip hop scene years ago, maybe about 25, almost 30 years ago. It influenced that, and when we had a lot of conscious rap, it started with those who were influenced by the Nation of Islam, Zulu Nation, things of that nature. Now the current state is the ones who used to pledge 5%, it's like they're not doing anything to revive that. What do you think that the condition of hip hop today or rap today has done to the momentum of the 5% movement that brought out a lot of the consciousness back in the day that it no longer exists now? So what do you think happened? And once you identify what happened, what do you think is the solution that can revive the movement again to do something more conscious? Because you rap, and your rap is very conscious. So my thing is, what happened and what can be done to resolve the current condition of hip hop now that they have left their roots?
Well, I mean, the messenger said it best, go for self, do for self. I mean, we got all these millionaires and stuff out there, they pop bottles and they spend money on other things. I mean, we have to get more of our people, to support the cause that we're trying to, put forth. When I first went to the Nation of Islam, one of their meetings, and I remember the brothers used to go around, during, zakat or charity time, when brothers put in there, when they ask for, whatever you can give. And, the pan to come around, and some people that are still with the slave mentality from the church and seeing that, you go into a righteous setting like in here, the Hebrew house, or in a masjid or a mosque or whatever, with the Muslims, as soon as brothers start asking for money, immediately these nigga, here they go. But it's to put forth to something righteous. You're going to take it out there and do something stupid with it 9 times out of 10. So you see what we're doing. You see the babies out there. You see we're teaching our children Hebrew, Arabic. We're teaching them knowledge. We're, giving them insight. Help put towards that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the things that can definitely be done to kind of invest. Invest. You know what I'm saying, in the future generation of whatever school of thought that you're a part of. That's number one. You know what I'm saying?
And the current condition of hip hop now.
The current condition of hip hop now, Minister Farrakhan once said, I remember in a lecture that it was a meeting that took place once, where, big white conglomerates got together and was like, we got to do something to kind of, You know, because see, during the 80s, the mid 80s and the early 90s, you know, the 5%, like you just said, in the Zulu Nation was heavy.
Yeah.
And even the kings, the Latin kings, you know, some of, you know, for all the three righteous groups, Latin kings, 5% Nation of Islam, and the Zulu Nation, you know, the white man was like, yo, we got to do something about this. So this was the alternative, of course, was the West Coast gangster rap and the, you know, so that was really what happened. So we know that artists like me, I'm not going to get heard spitting the type of stuff that I'm spitting. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's rephrase that. You're not going to get heard commercially the way it's being promoted.
Right.
But our audience out there, there's a pretty big demographic that are looking for conscious rap. So you understand what I'm saying? So when you say you're not going to be heard, you will, just in a different medium. You feel what I'm saying? So my question is, we understand that what happened, one thing that's being taught in the conscious community is that a lot of the Jews came in. They saw that there was too much power and control in the East Coast because of all these independent nations that were springing up and put out this conscious music talking about fight the power and bang on the beats and stuff of that nature. And like, whoa, we got to do something about that. So they started to pull their money away from them and put it into a couple of young thugs, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that they were bad, but you know, that was their mentality, who was gangbanging and all that. Said, yo, we're going to put you on A, B, and C. They didn't know nothing about consciousness. They didn't care nothing about consciousness. They was just getting money. And then that started to infect it because now, in order for the East Coast to be heard, you have to buy into this new paradigm. So now that
Biggie now talking about, you know, money, hoes, and clothes. All the
so
knows.
Now that diminished the consciousness of the East Coast. And when they saw that the consciousness was still pretty strong, they still work with the East Coast with select artists that were compromised, but for the most part they moved down south and started doing with the South rappers. You know what I'm saying? Because they figured they're not that bright down there. We'll just give them a couple of money and do the same thing all over again. So the question is, what can be done to revitalize the conscious rap movement today? What can be done, or what would you propose to brothers that are looking right now who want to come into the conscious rap game? That probably have an adherence, let's say, to either Hebrew Israelite, Nation of Islam, more, whatever the case may be, something that is more elevated and conscious as opposed to what's being displayed today. What would be your advice to them?
Well, I mean, I think as far as, you know, and I guess we'll go into it, you know, a little bit more later, but just to kind of touch on the conscious battle rap league, you know, there has to be some sort of alternative. You know, it's almost like, you know, the counterintelligence program of J. Edgar Hoover, you know, it was created to, once black people come up with some intelligent stuff, we got to counter that with something else to kind of, well, the guards do the same thing. When the white man comes up with something, we have to counter that. So because he has the youth now, 13, 14, 15, captivated with, you know, all this gangster rap, I'm going to kill this, I'm going to sell dope, we have to counter that now. We have to bring in something now to where we get young brothers up there battling each other, going back and forth with information. You know, hey, get a Hebrew brother against a 5%, you know, and hey.
I think that's great.
I put one of my boys against one of your boys. And,
you know why? Because now you're disseminating information. And another thing is,
it's no loser. It's
one thing I'll give props to Sonetta for is that he created a paradigm where you have different schools of thought that were debating. Now, a lot of people may see that as a negative thing, and like I say to people all the time, you know, after the debating is done, you ask the people who are part of the debate what solutions they have for the community afterwards, because it's good to give them some information, but what can I do when I go back to my community and how to fix it? But I think what that did was that created a paradigm, because you heard of Loaded Lux. Now, you know, Loaded Lux got put on to New Covenant, and his last two battle raps that he had, one was Hollow the Dawn, and I forgot the brother right before him.
Mook?
No, not Mook. It's another brother, Calico. He started spitting conscious rap. Now, at first, my thing was looking at the audience to see how they were receiving it, and it was a little off at first. But then when you look at people that go back and they watched it, they was like, "Yo, that was powerful." And the reason why I say this is because imagine if we have two artists that are conscious on that level. You know what I'm saying? Bringing out information, where that will go. So do you see a future in the Conscious Rap Battle League, and not just the Conscious Battle League, do you believe that we can create our own quote-unquote independent record label to start producing these artists? Because like you said, if we're going to take culture from the youth, we have to give them something to counter them.
Right.
If they don't have a counter-culture, like for example, if a youth is out in the street selling drugs, getting money, and then you tell him that's wrong, you take that from him, or you give him another paradigm so that way he can make money, so he can have his own business, so he knows what investments are, he can get land, he can have property, because like I tell young brothers all the time, the rappers that have longevity are the ones that invest, that have businesses, because they understand that rapping is just a gateway, and then once you get in, what do? Are you just flossing your bread, or are you actually doing something with it? So do you see a future in the Conscious Rap Battle League and in creating an independent record label to get these artists out? And if so, what would be the first step?
Well, I definitely see a future in it, and I only say that, you know, just off of the assumption of look at Smack, you know, look at where he's going today with it. You know, I mean, I never really thought that I would have seen battle rap on that level. You know, you got dudes out there getting 50,000, 100,000. I heard Mook talking about he want 200K to battle. So, I mean, you know, now of course that's the mainstream level. Even though what we're doing is underground, still brothers can still make, you know, a decent, you know, a lot of money in it, because again, like you just said, there's a sizable amount of people out there, a good audience that will support.
Exactly.
And the thing is, the beauty of it is, it's not just the conscious community that's going to support it. That's the thing about conscious rap. It's like my music, you know, like if you listen to some of my mixed CDs and stuff I may have did 5-6 years ago, the songs and the music is still relevant today. You know, but when you know,
it's like you're rapping ahead of your time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's almost like Pac. You listen to some of Tupac stuff or whatever, you know, when he was on the conscious, you know, level, not when he was going back and forth with Big on some diss and stuff, but when he was on the conscious level, Dear Mama, you know, I mean, yo, you listen to it today, you're like, wow, because it's still relevant, you know what I'm saying, today. So there's definitely a future in, you know, the conscious battle rap, and through that medium, we can use that as a launch pad, if you will, for other artists who may want to get their names out. Oh, that's what you call it. I remember he was battling, the Hebrew brother, and in that battle, and you know, but at the end of the day, there's no winners, there's no losers, at least amongst ourselves. It's the information that's being disseminated amongst the people and the youth, because I want to make conscious battle rap almost like, in like I told Sutet, you know, with Nas and Jay-Z, that battle, that epic battle that they had. You know, Nas was spitting facts. He's spitting actual facts. He's spitting stuff that, you know, brothers had to go back and like really look and research the information, where Jay-Z wasn't really talking about nothing.
And Jay-Z is a professing 5%er. Interestingly enough, I don't know if he really is, but he professes that, and he has in the past.
Yeah. I mean, the devil is powerful. You know what I'm saying? You know, the scriptures, and that's why I like building with the Hebrew brothers, because we're the only Muslims, the 5% Nation of Islam, we're the only Muslims who read both Bible and Qur'an. We read both books, you know, but in the Bible, it says, in the book of Revelation, I think it says that the devil will, and his name is Lucifer, after he has a name now, but it says that he will be exalted to be like a being of light. In the last days. So what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? That only means that a being of light is a melanated being, a black man. You don't see niggas acting like devils. And we gonna look at it and be like, wow, yo, he's God, he's doing. On Facebook one time I posed a question and asked some of the brothers, as a 5%, or not even just as a 5%, as a righteous person, how do you view success? Because you may be, yo, Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? He's successful though, he got bread, he got money. He was given that. You know, you got billionaires and stuff who will put money in your pocket. As long as you get out there and preach death and destruction to your people, they'll keep paying you, they'll keep giving you money. The other artists out there who may not be getting these big, you know, money and you know, bonuses and stuff from these billionaire giants or whatever, if they're preaching death, they're doing that so they can get to that point. You see what I'm saying? So there's nothing out there to make the people say, wait a minute, we need something else now. We, you know, and I read the comments. I'm a person who loves reading. I look at some of the comments on Facebook and stuff and YouTube, and people are like, yo, all this gun, yo, I got a gun this big, and you got even chicks now, you know, and they battle raps, they talking about, you know, and it's crazy. It's like everybody's a killer, everybody's a gangster.
Exactly.
Where's the knowledge?
Exactly.
So what I want to do is I want to make it fashionable where you can see two 16 or 17-year-olds battling each other, even if they're using a little profanity. At the end of the day, they going at each other
on information.
You see what I'm saying? You know, so you know you can't step in an event with somebody and battle somebody if you dumb.
Exactly.
You have to be an avid reader.
Exactly.
If you don't read, if you don't like to study, you can't be a conscious battle rapper. You can't get in there and say something that's adverse now, you know, to what people are.
Exactly. Because now they'll be privy to that.
Right.
So, for example, like this last week, there was a debate on February 8th that Sonetta and New Covenant had pretty much put on a platform for. There was a lot of people that turned out for that. Maybe about 600 plus people, and the live stream was about 650. So that's like over 1,200 people that actually was viewing in. But the reason why I bring that up is because now you had M.G.C who had a rap performance, and then you had Loaded Lux that had a rap performance, and both of them was conscious.
Oh wow!
So that means that now you have 1,250 people exposed to a different element, not just the debate function part, but also the rapping or the hip hop version of it. And now people was like, wow, you know what? That's fashionable. Now the people there are saying, wow, this conscious rap now. Now they're being put onto it.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a part of our culture.
Yes.
You know, rhythm, music. I mean, again, it could be used to enlighten. You know, like in Islam, in Orthodox Islam, you know, music is you know, Muslims playing music and singing and stuff like that. You know, but that's Arab Islam. Exactly. That's not Black African Islam. That's not 5% of Islam for the most part, because we know that we're by nature a rhythmic people. You know, music can change us for the greater or for the worse. So the thing is, I mean, when you got people watching like that, what we need, believe it or not, and this is what I was telling a brother a couple of days ago, we need more conscious DJs. Because when the conscious battle rappers say they just go in the studio and just do a mix CD, who's gonna play that mix CD or mix? You know, like you got K Slay, you got you know, DJ Clue and Flex, and you know, you got all these DJs. You know, we need some more conscious like DJs that even if they're not over the mainstream airwaves, which they can be, like in Atlanta out here. You got what's that? 88.3, 88.5, I believe it is.
I don't listen to it much because, and I say this, I'm glad that you say that, because now with the advent of Pandora, TuneIn Radio, now you can create a station and get it on one of these networks, because now people are moving away from just standard radio and they're dealing with internet radio.
Oh yeah, facts. Yeah, I mean,
so we can use that medium for our advantage.
That's all I mostly deal with. You know, for the most part, I stay on XM and Sirius, and you know. But that's basically what we need. We need to just create outlets to where, if that's something we want to do, you mentioned the debates a little while ago. The debates are good, you know what I'm saying? You know, but they will get played out if brothers don't come to the table with solutions.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, because as scholars, people expect not only answers to things that they've been looking for throughout their lives, but they're looking for solutions. Like, okay, well, what can I do now to make it better or to make it all right?
Exactly.
That's just the human way of thinking, the divine human way of thinking. So, you know, that's good, and I think it'll last as long as the scholars can, you know, of course, keep it diplomatic. You know, again, like I mentioned before, with a lot of the cursing and stuff, and you know, scholarly individuals, you know, in your book, you don't be like, yo, F this dude, you know, in your literary, you don't use that type of language. So speaking naturally, you know, you wouldn't really use that type of derogatory.
Now, I don't know if you're aware of it, and this is to the viewers because we're about to wrap this up. If you go to the channel, you'll see we have a conscious unity mixer that House of Conscious Atlanta had put on back in November, I believe. And if you go there, all it is conscious rappers. Okay. And not just conscious artists. You also had spoken word. Somebody did a spoken word song kind of thing, and then the DJ there was mixing a lot of conscious music. Okay. So the thing was that the turnout was pretty decent, but the reason why we didn't go forward ahead is because it was a lot of marketing, but a lot of people didn't show up, and I guess that's because a lot of people wasn't aware of it. So what we're trying to do also is we're trying to do more of these unity mixes. So I have my brother, he's going to end us off with a quick 16-bar rap or whatever. But before he do that, I want y'all to tune in and look at our channel and take a look at the Conscious Unity Mixer that we did back in November. There's maybe about, I think it was like 6 artists that we have on there, so you guys can be aware of what some of the elements of the conscious music sounds like. And going forward, when we get more support from you guys, we can do a part 2 to that. But we need y'all to support artists like my brother Fahiym right here. We need you to support the Conscious Unity Mixers when we put them out there. And if you can get your support, then we'll be able to put more to you, because what we're doing down here is that we're being very attentive to what you guys are saying, what you guys are posting, and we're going to reflect that in the music, reflect that in the structure, reflect that in the presentation and performance. So with that being said, I'm about to end off right now. This is Brother Divine Prospect of House of Conscious Atlanta, aka Black News 404. You guys stay tuned to more videos. I'm going to do a part 2 with my brother Fahiym right here. But before we go, we need you to hit us with a fire 16.
Yeah, it's my NOI acceptance letter to the Savior. Yeah, yo, this a letter to the Savior, Allah and His messenger. These streets out here, wow, they'll mess with ya. The black nation still dead in the tomb. The black woman got death in the womb. It's hard to sit and accept the fact that we was hit in the head. My black people still mentally dead. Back in 01, I caught a case and I was sent to the feds for trying to get cream and get up my bread. A nigga trying to change now. I don't even know my name now. It's amen for himself, yo, that's the game now. I need an X at the end of my name, cause on the plantation, everything got changed. I was robbed of my name, language, culture, and God. That's why today I got to struggle so hard. The black queen lost all the true love tactics. Now she roams the streets like the new drug addict. I know chicks who walk with the cute snub ratchet that'll bang they hammers on the nigga like the new Judge Hatchet. I need to gain knowledge of myself. I need to stack dollars for my wealth. You feeling me, Lord? Yo, I need to be proud of myself. I wanna put away the swine flesh so I can save my health. Yo, the hood is even crazier now. Fiends walk the ghetto smoked out, but they stay in denial. I read Elijah came to stay for a while. You put a sword and living perpendicular, facing the clouds. You taught the real God resides inside. We up in the church rejoicing, but we never realized the lies. You told us that the devil came and revised the scribes to throw us off.